Welcome to the session on conflict escalation. We will learn more about how conflict emerge and turn violent. Conflict reveals the inadequacy of the relational dynamism. For conflict, we need some kind of relationship, and we need at least two parties, two individuals at the basic level. Conflict emerges when something goes wrong in the way we communicate, behave, and treat each other. If there is no change in the relational system, hostility accumulates incrementally until a catastrophic or precipitating event occurs and there is a transformation from hostility to violence. Some precipitating event triggers direct violence, but conditions for conflict to emerge are already there. The asterisk and hashtag represent an infinite number of possibilities, ties, and connections among two parties. We use this representation to talk about conflict in abstract terms in order to understand escalation. Asterisk represents party 1, hashtag represents party 2. When the very presence of another is a threat, real or perceived, to one actor's existence and to the existence of those with whom that actor identifies, then you have the experience of one particular status of the relationship that is conflict, self versus other. Conflict binds parties into a negative dynamics, which is versus, contra, against the other, and they need each other for conflict to escalate. This picture represents peacemaking approaches writ small. When conflict escalates, we need to find a way to deal with them, and various techniques of peacemaking are used to de-escalate conflict. In the upper left corner, we have unitary decision-making, which suggests that one party, asterisk, has the power to make a decision that will end conflict. Think of child-parent type of conflicts. The lower right corner represents conciliation, negotiation approach, which suggests that the parties can work on conflict themselves and collaboratively. In the lower left corner, we have mediation, which refers to a method where a neutral and impartial third party, the mediator, facilitates dialogue in a structured, multi-stage process to help parties reach a conclusive and mutually satisfactory agreement. Arbitration, on the other hand, in the upper right corner, is an approach where third party, arbiter, has the power to make a decision on how to resolve the conflict, and parties need to abide by his or her decision. The arbiter is invited by the parties to help them resolve the issue. Arbiters are often used in cases of border disputes, fishing wars, and similar. Conflict resolution is often about making it safe to disagree. Escalation sometimes has positive consequences, helping to solve long-standing latent conflict. Examples are particularly compelling at the interpersonal level, such as conflict between spouses, neighbors, business associates, etc. Escalations often bring issues out in the open, which is good. However, escalations are quite harmful in intractable and protracted conflicts, such as Israeli-Palestinian conflict, in which they lead to a renewed spirals of violence and conflict becomes more entrenched in a vicious cycle. Let us now consider the Aggressor-Defender Model. The aggressor A starts with mild contentious tactics. If it doesn't work, A is moving to heavier tactics. The defender merely reacts, escalating his or her efforts in response to aggressor's escalation. A has initiative. Escalation persists until the aggressor either wins or gives up trying. This model is not evaluative. A is a party that wants some change. D is a party that resists change. In the beginning of conflict in Syria, for example, it was the protesters who were trying to escalate and challenge status quo. However, this conflict soon spiraled out. And here we have another model of conflict escalation, the conflict spiral model. This model is a bilateral model. This means that escalation results from a vicious circle of action and reaction. In a retaliatory spiral, each party punishes the other. In defensive spiral, each party reacts so as to protect itself from a threat it finds in the other. There is a difference in motivation. One is proactive spiral and the other reactive. Retaliatory spiral is driven by anger and punishing the other, while defensive spiral is driven by fear. In the aggressor-defender analysis, causation flows in only one direction. The aggressor acts and the defender reacts. In the conflict spiral analysis, causation flows in both directions. Each party reacts to the other party's actions. So this is all for today. Thanks for listening.